Good morning, everyone. This is Ed Thompson coming to you from Greensboro, North Carolina with Single Purpose Ministries on a beautiful spring day in the North Carolina area. I am so excited today because I'm going to be talking about a subject that is hitting me squarely right in the bullseye of my life. And later on in this talk, I'm going to be asking you all, perhaps you can help me with this. And so let's get back to that as we end this e-blast today. But I want to start today by just remembering a couple things. For instance, there was a great soul singer in the late 50s named Sam Cooke, and he sang a song about a change is going to come. A few decades later, we people that were in the early 80s rocked to another song about change, REO Speedwagon, Roll with the Changes. And I enjoyed both of those in the sense that at the time, they both meant so much different to me. And I've listened to them recently, and oh my, how times are changing. You know, everything changes except God, and our relationships, fortunately, can change because they get better, more intimate, more loving and joyful. So do relationships with one another and within ourselves. They can all grow, and that's what we're about at Single Purpose Ministries. So I'm just going to bring into light the fact that I'm going and have been in the fourth quarter of my life, and I'm hoping God gives me changes throughout where perhaps I'll even have a period of overtime. I'll get a little extra on the end, whatever that means. All I know is, folks, I'm glad to have you with me today. I'm going to be asking you to go to the e-blast as you're listening. I think you can do that. And if not, please feel comfortable just to sit back, let me read a little bit of it to you, and keep in mind it's coming from my heart, but keep in mind it's also about my heart. Now, I hope some of that will come out and be about yours as well. We won't know until we listen. The article that I'm talking about was written by a man and wife, Kevin and Marie Brenfleck. And they write for a wonderful online center called the Christian Career Center. And I'm happy to say that when I read this, I want them to get all the credit in the way they've written it. But the points they have written about hit me once again square in the face. So let's go and let's talk a little bit. I can't help but read it all, and it is a little bit long, but hang in there with me, please. Listen to how well this is written. They start, it is the scent that cannot be bottled or captured in a candle, but we all know it well. The fresh hints of florals mixed with the dewy aroma of the snow melting that hints the seasons are shifting. Visibly, we can see small buds emerge and bright colors begin to peek up from the ground to say hello. Spring emerges slowly and then all at once. And suddenly, our once winter wonderland is transformed into a peaceful scene of all things new. Nature often is a metaphor of our own lives. So how do we know when the seasons in our own lives are about to shift? How do we know when God is suggesting the next chapter is about to begin? Here are 5 things to look out for. The first is new interests or passions is one thing we can look out for. Often a note that you are about to enter a new chapter or season is your passions or interests begin to shift or change. Gradually, hobbies or activities you once enjoyed are not as enjoyable as before. Instead, new interests begin to unfold and your vision along with them. Folks, I am living that. I'll hope to get into that more in detail in the coming weeks. Perhaps a new career is forming before your very eyes, or a creative venture that will lead to an unexpected journey. Many times there will be an inner nudge within your heart to follow the breadcrumbs along the path of these new passions. I am doing that. There is something captivating about the unknown that exists ahead in pursuing those leadings. God often will take even the smallest of details to direct someone to an adventure they never imagined. Number 2, God is speaking in a new way. If there's real change coming in your life, Isaiah 43:19, we're given a vivid imagery of what God says of the beginnings of a new season. He says, "See, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs up. Do you not perceive it? I am making a way in the wilderness and streams in the wasteland." Just as winter blooms into spring, so God cascades his Spirit upon a new season in our lives. But often what accompanies this season is also new ways he shares his heart with us. Just as the verse suggests, we may not always perceive it at first, but in time we learn more of how he is seeking to communicate with us. Romans 8:26 explains how he can translate even tears or sighs from us. So in the same way, he can communicate with us new and exciting ways. Perhaps a particular Bible study or a book of the Bible will become more relevant in your walk. Or that still small voice will become louder or more frequent. Once again, folks, this hits me so in the heart. It's happening to me. For many, even dreams or vivid imagery in our thoughts will relay a message from him. Be eager to test every spirit, as 1 John 4 talks about, in order to consider that a new season that he's communicating is coming into your heart. Now, number 3 out of 5 here, so we're about halfway done. Friends or relationships are shifting. Here's an interesting point. Just as certain as plants are grown in a specific time of year and others endure no matter what the season, relationships we have with others are similar. If you are entering into a new season or have the sense of a new chapter emerging, often you will see the company you keep shift and change. Sometimes God weeds people out of our lives that in the long run are not beneficial to us. Other times, some connections become stronger and some drift for a period of time. Do not resist the change unless you feel God is saying differently. As you level up into new phases of your life, some people will not continue with you. Trust in knowing God has his specific reasons, and one day it will be evident. Not every relationship is meant for every stage of your life, but when we entrust God with every stage of our lives, we can trust his hand. Number 4, open or closed doors. A clear and indicative sign that it is time to enter your new season is the opening or closing of certain doors. This is to mean that a job, a relationship, or something that was once there is now closed shut. But up ahead, a new opportunity opens. So we often will see segments of time where a door has shut, but we are left waiting in the hallway for a new door to present itself. Folks, I'm in that hallway. Trust that if God is making you wait, there is so much more to be learned and gleaned from that time. When the time comes, God will make it happen. Isaiah 60:22. Be active in taking these events before the Lord as well, for his leadership of the path to follow is going to be made clear in his timing and what is the best route for you or me to take. So often, we will see segments of our time where a door has shut, but we are left waiting. And folks, I cannot believe it, but I have, repeated that. Sorry, let me go down here. Confirmation from God. Number 5, the final one. The clearest indication that it is time to step forward into a new chapter is confirmation and peace that come from the Lord. 1 Corinthians 14:33 reminds us that God is not a creator of confusion or disorder, but a creator of peace. Ask God to make it strikingly clear that moving forward into His chapter of His will, and that He graciously wants and desires to answer the requests that you have for wisdom, and look forward to the ways He's going to answer your requests. Perhaps the sermon at your church will be exactly pertaining to the situation, or a fellow believer will offer words of encouragement out of the blue, giving you peace, just like this article is bringing that to me. God often uses His word to grant confirmation to a soul, and in the Bible, you may find the exact answer that you're desiring. That is so exciting. As seasons sift and change, it can at times feel uncomfortable, but rest that growth occurs in those uncomfortable times. He's saying, rest in the growth that occurs in those uncomfortable times. And what is birthed beyond the uncomfortable can and will be something beautiful. Here's C.S. Lewis saying, when spring comes, it leaves no corner of the land untouched. And just like spring expanding through the world, so a new chapter of your life can be and is expanding. I'll finish up and say, stand tall and boldly keep your eyes on Christ, knowing that He knows the way and that the journey will be more abundant than you could ever ask for or imagine. Oh, folks, that's a lot. Thank you for staying with me, and thank you for letting me tell you that that's why I'm here today. Some things are really shaking in my life, and here is a part that is hard, unpleasant, and that is some of the doors I have to shut or I'm seeing shut. Some of the relationships are going away. I don't want that, but God evidently does. And other things that He's showing me relative to change, He's got plans for me. In Jeremiah chapter 29:13, 11 through 13 actually talk about plans that are for good for Ed Thompson. So here's what I need from you folks today. Of course, pray for me. I want to follow him and some of these great suggestions from the article. And I also, folks, want to send out a survey to you, and I'm going to work hard and get it out next week, Lord willing, that you will participate in helping me with making this e-blast and video blast something that maybe is up a notch, up and coming, different, shown more or shown less. But the survey is going to give me an idea of things you may want to hear and things that could improve that which we're doing today. Talking about purpose. And I want to just finish up and tell you folks that there is a video series that's been on for a year, 8 episodes per year, and they're in their second year. It's called The Chosen. Many of you have heard about it. Just go to the App Store and pick it up for free, The Chosen. And then you can click on your phone or television if you hook it up, and it will give you episodes on the life of Jesus Christ. And folks, I can only tell you they're the best renditions of his life and the meaning behind it that you'll ever see. But do watch. year one before you jump into year two. There are 8 episodes in year one, and there have now been produced 3 episodes for this year two. But my point is, start from the start and ride this thing all the way out. I know you won't regret it. Folks, I'm coming upon the longest video blast that I've ever done, and yet this is another thing that's part of the change. I want to give you the best for your sake, and you're going to help me for my sake. And He'll get the glory in the midst of it and around it and at the end of it. Love you all. Thanks so much. Take care. See ya next week, Lord willing.